The trap. The fluorescent lights flickered in the underground parking garage as Kira Ashford walked toward her silver sedan, gym bag slung over her shoulder. Her brown skin glistened slightly with perspiration from the evening's training session. She'd spent 3 hours perfecting techniques with her advanced students, her muscles pleasantly tired. Her long black braids swayed as she walked, her dark brown eyes scanning the familiar concrete space. Something felt wrong. 3 figures emerged from behind a concrete pillar, men with predatory grins and calculated movements. The tallest one, wearing a torn leather jacket, stepped forward. "Nice moves in there, sweetheart. We've been watching." Kira's heart rate elevated, but her training kicked in. She set down her bag carefully, her athletic frame tensing, all 5 fingers of each hand spreading slightly as she assessed the situation. "Gentlemen, you don't want to do this. Walk away." 3 against 1, the second attacker sneered, cracking his knuckles. "Odds are pretty good." They rushed her together, a coordinated attack meant to overwhelm. But Kira wasn't an ordinary victim. She was a third-degree black belt with 12 years of mixed martial arts experience. The first man lunged. Kira pivoted on her right leg, redirecting his momentum and sending him crashing into a nearby car. The second came from her left. She blocked his punch with her forearm, countered with a precise palm strike to his solar plexus, then swept his legs. He hit the concrete hard, gasping. The tall one in the leather jacket hesitated, realizing his mistake. He charged anyway. Kira ducked under his wild swing, delivered a sharp kick to his knee, not enough to break it, but enough to buckle it, then followed with an elbow strike that dropped him. 90 seconds. 3 men groaning on the ground, unable to stand. Kira picked up her bag, hands steady despite her racing heart, and called the police. The aftermath. Kira sat on her apartment couch, hands wrapped around a mug of chamomile tea that had gone cold. The adrenaline was finally fading, replaced by trembling she couldn't control. Her phone buzzed, "Marcus." She'd texted him 20 minutes ago with just 3 words, "Need you here." The door burst open. Marcus Chen rushed in, his hazel eyes wide with concern, his olive-toned skin flushed from running up 4 flights of stairs. "Kira. What happened?" She stood, and suddenly his arms were around her, his familiar warmth enveloping her completely. "I'm okay," she whispered against his chest. "I'm okay." His hands moved gently over her shoulders, down her arms, checking for injuries with tender care. "Tell me everything." She did. As the words spilled out, Marcus's jaw tightened, but his touch remained soft. He cupped her face with both hands, his thumbs brushing her cheekbones. "You're incredible. You know that?" At the police station an hour later, Detective Rivera shook her head in amazement while reviewing the security footage. "Ms. Ashford, you showed remarkable restraint. With your training, you could have seriously injured them. You didn't." "I just wanted to go home," Kira said quietly, Marcus's hand wrapped around hers. Back at her apartment near midnight, Marcus refused to leave. "I'm staying tonight," he said firmly, no room for argument. In her bedroom, he helped her out of her jacket, his fingers lingering on her shoulders. "You're safe now," he murmured, pressing his forehead to hers. His lips found hers in a slow, deep kiss that spoke of relief and love and need. They lay intertwined under soft blankets, Marcus's fingers threading through her braids, his other hand tracing circles on her back. "I love you," he whispered against her temple. "I love you too," Kira breathed, feeling truly safe for the first time that night in his arms. 1 week later, Kira's self-defense studio buzzed with unprecedented energy. 20 women filled the training space, college students clutching water bottles nervously, mothers who'd left their kids with babysitters, young professionals in athletic wear, teenagers accompanied by their older sisters, all there because they'd heard her story. Word had spread like wildfire through social media, local news coverage, and community WhatsApp groups. The waiting list had grown to over 50 names, with more inquiries flooding in daily. Kira stood before them, her brown skin glowing under the studio's bright lights, wearing her black training GI with instructor patches proudly displayed on the chest. Her dark brown eyes scanned the eager, anxious faces, seeing fear mixed with fierce determination. Her long black braids were tied back in a practical high bun, away from her face. She took a deep breath, centering herself. "What happened to me could happen to anyone," she began, her voice steady and resonant. "3 men thought I was an easy target. They were wrong. But I wasn't born knowing how to defend myself, I learned. And so can you. Today, we start changing the narrative about what it means to be strong." Marcus Chen leaned against the doorframe at the back of the studio, arms crossed over his chest, watching his girlfriend command the room with natural authority and grace. He'd spent the entire week helping her manage the overwhelming response, designing eye-catching promotional materials, building a responsive website with online booking, creating social media content, even answering phones and scheduling classes when she was teaching. Seeing her transform trauma into purpose, fear into power, vulnerability into strength, made his heart swell with overwhelming pride and deepening love. "Everyone, pair up," Kira instructed, moving fluidly through the crowd, her athletic build evident in every confident step. "I'm going to show you the fundamentals: situational awareness before anything happens, defensive positioning when confronted, identifying vulnerable points on an attacker's body." She demonstrated with mathematical precision, her 2 arms moving fluidly through defensive blocks and counterstrikes, her 2 legs planted firmly in proper fighting stances, every movement deliberate and controlled. Her 5 fingers on each hand showed proper fist formation with the thumb tucked correctly, effective striking surfaces using the heel of the palm, and how to target pressure points. A young woman named Sarah, barely 20 with worried eyes, raised her hand tentatively. "But what if they're way bigger than you? Way stronger? I'm only 5'2". Kira smiled with understanding, remembering her own early doubts. "Perfect question. Technique beats raw strength every single time. Size doesn't matter when you know what you're doing. Let me show you." She called up her assistant instructor, Devon, a muscular man who stood 6'3" and towered over her 5'6" frame. Within seconds, using leverage, proper angles, and body mechanics rather than brute force, she had him controlled and on the mat, completely neutralized. The women gasped collectively, then erupted in enthusiastic applause and excited chatter. For the next 2 hours, the studio echoed with empowering shouts of "no," and "back off," and "stay away." The crucial verbal boundaries Kira taught alongside physical techniques. The women practiced with increasing intensity, their voices growing progressively louder, more confident, more assertive with each repeated drill. Nervous laughter and self-consciousness transformed into fierce determination and solidarity. Partners encouraged each other, corrected stances, celebrated small victories. By the session's end, the entire atmosphere had shifted dramatically from uncertainty and fear to collective strength and sisterhood. As the last student left, chattering excitedly with her training partner about signing up for the advanced course, Marcus approached slowly. His hazel eyes were bright with emotion, slightly misty. "You're absolutely incredible, Kira. I mean it. You're literally changing lives right in front of me." Kira finally allowed herself to feel the accumulated weight of the intense week lift from her shoulders. Her body relaxed. "Our accomplishment," she corrected softly, stepping into his warm embrace, resting her head against his chest. "I couldn't have managed any of this chaos without you. You've been my absolute rock through everything." He pulled her impossibly closer, his hands sliding tenderly around her waist, feeling the coiled strength in her athletic frame, the steady rhythm of her heartbeat. "You're not just my girlfriend anymore. You're starting a real movement. You're giving all these women their power back, their confidence, their voices." She rose on her toes, capturing his lips in a deep, passionate kiss that conveyed profound gratitude, endless love, and renewed inner strength. His fingers traced slowly up her spine, and she melted into him completely, finally allowing herself to be vulnerable and soft with the one person she trusted with everything. When they finally pulled apart, both breathless and smiling, Marcus tucked a loose braid behind her ear with infinite tenderness, his fingertips lingering on her cheek. "Ready to go home and just relax? With you?" "Always," Kira replied warmly, intertwining all 5 fingers of her right hand with his left as they walked out together into the golden evening light streaming through the windows, ready to face whatever challenges came next, together, stronger than ever. The END Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.